stressing like a motherfucker. I just really want something to go away. I don't even know what to say. I've been busy all.
When you use constant contact, prepare accordingly.
Jim Jones and Kid Cudi. A lot of people are probably thinking, well, some people that are a little bit older are probably thinking, okay,
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised because I saw the headline on Instagram, like I saw it, like, but I just passed through it, like, but I was like, I didn't really read it, but I saw it. You know, you know how you scan through something. I'm thinking, I'm like, I didn't really want to believe it for what I saw. Not saying a reason is a reason. I think it's just unbelievable. It really is. It's unbelievable. I need to get my phone. I've set it somewhere. Well, welcome back to my channel. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. We're doing a reaction today. I'll be watching Hello Yasin. He's like he's like a white DJ academic, sort of say. Yeah, he's the white DJ academic. Opposite personalities, but definitely the white DJ. Let's get to it.
remember that. And some people right now.
Oh, this called the craziest Kid Cudi news just dropped. Like, I didn't believe it until this video came up, and I was like, let me go back.
By saying, whoa, how are those two worlds even colliding? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because Jim Jones was on this show, Sirius XM radio show, talking to a DJ, and he said that he was responsible for Kid Cudi's career. And I've followed Kid Cudi since maybe 2008. Yeah, 2008. I was a youngin', but 2008. First heard Day and Night. Had followed his mixtapes.
Me too.
But I'm going to go into specifically what Jim Jones said, and then we're going to explore if there's.
And besides, look, I know y'all that's watching probably gonna be like, oh, Kid Cudi, that's the artist that was that be wearing these dresses and stuff. Look, man, just like Hello Yasin just said, started following Kid Cudi when he came out with Day and Night. And I still didn't really know too much when Day and Night came because I was a little kid. So I saw it. Every time it used to come on MTV and all that stuff all the time. So that's when I first became a fan of him. You know what I'm saying? But fast forward 2022, with you kids, Kid Cudi, not saying it's nothing, it's something wrong with that. I mean, you know, what do you think? But I'm just saying that's not how his journey started.
Any validity to it and expand on it, because he did, and by he I mean Kid Cudi had addressed something like this over 12 years ago on a song. So Jim Jones is giving himself credit as the person responsible for making Kid Cudi the rap star he is today. On May 28th, Capo and Mano appeared on DJ Superstar's VIP Saturday show on Sirius XM to promote their Lobby Boys album. During the sit-down, Jim Jones made the revelation that he is the reason for Kid Cudi's rap fame. Jones recalled how he initially met Cudi at the Koch Records office, where Jones was signed at the time. Kid Cudi was nobody, Jim Jones said. He worked in an effing store under Koch Records. I was signed to Koch Records. I didn't even know Kid Cudi worked down there. Well, he didn't even know who Kid Cudi was. So Lisa Brunson's nephew at the time was doing some work for me in my studio. And he's like, yo, I manage these video directors and I want them to shoot a video for you and stuff like that. I'm like, show me the video. They showed me the video. Ended up being a Kid Cudi video that they shot for free for him. He continued, they like, this the kid that works in the effing rock and roll store under Koch. They just did it for him. And I was like, give me the record and I'll let y'all shoot me a video. Jones said he was initially on Cudi's breakout single Day and Night, which he says he first uploaded online. There was already a version of Day and Night that had come out, the original version. He was on a remix. If you look it up on YouTube still, like 13 years ago, there's videos of the Jim Jones version or the remix of Kid Cudi's Day and Night. I put it on YouTube. Somebody at Hot 97 ripped it up.
Bro, I never knew Jim Jones made a remix to Day and Night. Oh, do I want to go check it out? Oh no, I might get copyrighted. I was gonna react to it right now. I might still try it. If it do, I'll make sure I have this video cut. Split it up.
Off of YouTube and started playing it at Hot 97. This is facts. That song was inescapable on the radio during those years, or that year, I should say. Jones added, when he got his deal, they took me off the record and went for ads without me on the record. DJ Cassidy did that. You dig? You know, I bumped into him, but that's my man, though. It's always a joke, though, but it happens like that. I'm solely responsible for Kid Cudi's career. You can go tell him that, and he's going to tell you he's right. Kid Cudi hasn't spoken on this. Knowing the way Kid Cudi responds to certain things, he most definitely should have a response for this. He's responded to way more minor things than somebody saying that they actually made him, and Jim Jones of all people. Now, we move forward to a song in
Google Pixel, the only phone made by Google. Because when Google makes your phone, you can speak.
Song in 2010, That Tree by Snoop Dogg, that Kid Cudi was featured on. Kid Cudi had a verse on that song where he says, made it to the top, baby, that's on me. Koch trying to claim that they made me. Koch Records, that's where Jim Jones was signed to, that building. Kid Cudi also worked at Bait during this time. And the main players, you could say, in Kid Cudi's career were playing Pat, Emil, and Dot the Genius. He had clearly already met Dot the Genius because how else would they have the record Day and Night? And there was already a music video recorded for a certain version of Day and Night. Otherwise, Jim Jones would have never seen it. And I think Kid Cudi already had a little buzz when it came to the blogs at that point in time. So when I look back and I try to piece together the timeline, because Kid Cudi timeline is really difficult to piece together all of the happenings and who he met and in what chronological order it happened. It's not like Travis Scott, who's piecing things together is damn near a disaster. It's almost impossible. But Kid Cudi, there are some things that happened before the other that a lot of people get confused, including myself. With that being said, though, we have Kid Cudi, Day and Night. I think the version of Day and Night that they recorded the music video for that was shown to Jim Jones was the Crookers remix. Because the Crookers remix, it's the dance remix for Kid Cudi's Day and Night. That one blew up overseas in Europe, taken off before Day and Night had even taken off in America. And that's kind of sound, it lends itself to Europe. He was on MySpace at the time, which was a huge discovery platform for music, as well as YouTube, but mainly MySpace. One thing that I will say for sure is, if we recall, Jim Jones didn't get him signed to a deal. He just saw that the record was hot and he wanted to hop on the record. We will have to give credit for Jim Jones. This is 2008, if I'm getting the timeline correct. Jim Jones is scorching hot. New York City streets we're talking about. New York City, Jim Jones.
I probably heard of Jim Jones. Well, actually, I did. I heard of Jim Jones. And I know I listened to some of his newer music that he's been dropping for the past probably like 3 years. I've been up on it. I like it now, but back then, that's what I'm saying. I didn't even know he did a Day and Night remix. Like, I just did it. Far as my opinion on he put Kid Cudi on. It's kind of 50-50 because it's like if Drake hop on one of my records that I've done and put it as a remix, people are gonna search for that original song, even though they might feel like Drake got the better version because it's Drake or whatever. So they might feel like he had the better version or something, but they will still go look for the original song. And me on a come up, not that I would have never made it, but because Drake hopped on the song, I made it quicker. Then, because I don't feel like nobody in the world can stop you, or no one in the world can designate you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't do this, it's never gonna happen. Because Kid Cudi is talented, and that song was gonna blow up regardless. But because Jim Jones hopped on it, I feel like it happened quicker. But both credit to both of them, to be honest with you, because it's like, you know, I mean, but if Jim Jones, I feel like Jim Jones has the right to feel that way. You know, I'm saying I agree. I'm 50-50 with it, like on some real stuff. Like, this is the honest with it. I'm literally 50-50. Let's get back to it. But, y'all see me, gotta say. My bad.
Is that guy. He's popping. So for him to hop on this, it lent itself to a new demographic that Kid Cudi hadn't tapped into before, and it opened them up to accepting Kid Cudi and his music. That's what I think Jim Jones did. So I do think he played a role in Kid Cudi's career. Yeah. But for him to say that he's solely responsible for Kid Cudi blowing up, I don't know about all that. And I don't think Kid Cudi knows about all that, especially when you look at the verse on that song, when you look how far he's come. I think he'd give way more credit to a Kid Cudi or any of his producers before he gives it to Jim Jones. And is that because maybe him and Jim Jones don't have the greatest relationship? We don't know if they're on bad terms. They just aren't close. We don't see him hanging around Jim Jones a lot. We just don't see Kid Cudi doing any of that. So I think Jim Jones felt like he lent his hotness, you could say, and helped push him and put him on. And that's why Kid Cudi's at the place he's at now, which I somewhat can understand why Jim Jones feels that way. And he probably feels slighted because he lost out on a lot of money had he signed Kid Cudi. And that's the question we got to ask ourselves too. Why didn't he sign Kid Cudi or bring him to some sort of label if he thought he was so talented? I think he just saw the opportunity on the record and said, okay, I could do something with this record, but this chump that's working underneath Koch Records, man, come on. I don't see him being a star, but I see this song doing something and I'll hop on it, because people were hopping on remixes of songs consistently during this era. This is 2007, 8, 9. They're hopping on anything that's remotely bubbling, rappers, that is. Because that's the thing it was the thing that you did back then. And keep in mind, this is peak Lil Wayne era where he's killing every remix and rappers were doing the same. I'm not going to give credit to Jim Jones for making Kid Cudi, but I'm not going to call him delusional or crazy for the statements that he made. I would love for Kid Cudi to address this so we can get more context, because us as listeners, we really just want the truth and nothing but the truth. We don't.
Google Fi, a phone plan by Google. With our Unlimited Plus plan, you'll get unlimited data, calls, and texts. Plus,
we don't care. Well, some Kid Cudi stands might care and say, nah, he didn't make them. Kid Cudi would have made it regardless, this and that. But I think this is a beautiful example of how someone can be presented opportunities. Kid Cudi probably never knew that his music was going to be shown to Jim Jones. Just think how unlikely of a scenario this is. Jim Jones is at Koch Records. These people, that one person that works there, her nephew managed video directors. These video directors just so happen to have done a video for Kid Cudi. Like we're 3 or 4 degrees of separation right now from Kid Cudi, or stairs, levels, whatever you want to call it. Kid Cudi gets the music video done for them. He probably doesn't even know what's happening. They show it to the guy that manages the video directors, whose aunt is the one that's working with, what's his name? Jim Jones, in this case, or working at Koch Records. They happen to have a scenario where they're in the studio, something's going on, and then they show him, or they say they want to work with him. And in order to work with him, he says, okay, let me see some of your work. And then he checks out some of their work and he thinks one of the records is hot and he wants to hop on it. So Kid Cudi didn't really do anything for Jim Jones anything directly, I should say, for Jim Jones to find his music and aid him. Because Jim Jones wasn't aid, he helped him out. Did he make him? I don't know if I'm willing to go that far and say that. But I think it's a great example of, if you just do good work, do a lot of work, and connect with people, you never know what's going to be your break. It could be something that you're not even directly doing. And it could be someone that happens to be in a room with someone else and wants to present your work. And if you're, let's say, hard to work with, if you're unpleasant, if you've got a certain type of attitude, that individual would be less likely to show your work to the person that can make decisions or make things move forward for you. And I think this works in any field creatively, whether it's music, producing, how people that are actors, whatever the case may be. I think this is just one of those beautiful chance scenarios that people will say is luck. But I mean, it's like the quote always goes, luck is preparation meets opportunity. And in this case, Kid Cudi already had work done. It's not like Jim Jones linked up with Kid Cudi. It was 2 or 3 people away from Kid Cudi. And then are you going to say there's the other piece of luck where Kid Cudi ends up meeting Kanye West and his producers and all of that? I think he was consistently trying to put himself in the right place and working, and it paid off for him. And this is a similar thing that's happened to a lot of different artists. And that's the beautiful thing I love about rap music. I would say music as a whole, but for a lot of pop stars and other genres, their come up story isn't really defined. And it doesn't seem to be a part of the narrative or just the story that they present you of the artist. Maybe they'll give a couple of details, but in hip hop, you really get, or at least try to get, the full story of, oh, this is how this person came up. They grew up here, then they went here, then they met this person, then they made this music, and this didn't work out, and this label denied them. So you get the full story, and you get to see all of these different artists, dozens, hell, even hundreds, and they all made it in different ways, which just goes to show there isn't one linear path, and each artist has their own, you could say, road that they have to follow, but it'll all take them to the same destination, which I think is a beautiful thing to see. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do you think Jim Jones is tripping a little bit? Do you think Jim Jones is right? And do you think Kid Cudi will address this at all? Because I think it's a bold claim for someone to make that they single-handedly, that's the word, single-handedly made you. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.
Well, Lil Uzi funny as hell, bro. That boy funny. Good when you can be just, yourself, 100%. But on this situation in general, bro, I just feel like they're both blessed. Like, give more than you receive. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank y'all for joining, watching.